At 21:45 hours on Sunday, December 2nd, 2018, I, Trooper Thomas Mason, badge number 14012, correction 1402, the Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Officer for the San Andreas Highway Patrol, was traveling northwestbound on Panorama Drive in Sandy Shores when I observed a semi-truck trailer stopped at an intersection, make a right-hand turn, and struck a state stop sign. At the time of the incident, the first crime that I saw happen was the destruction of the stop sign here. I'll rewind it and you'll notice the only vehicles within my line of sight are the semi-truck, the stop sign. There is a vehicle here on the left-hand side, but at the time my focus was on the commercial vehicle. As I am the CVE trooper, that is my responsibility. Notice, the first thing I see happen is the semi-truck trailer hits the stop sign and continue making a right-hand turn. I then notice several other vehicles and a pedestrian coming into play. The first crime I see occur is the one that I go with. That is the first thing that I see happen, and the CVE is my responsibility as commercial vehicle enforcement to give this man a citation for destruction of state property. To my knowledge, at this moment, this gentleman is the only one who has actually committed a crime of destroying state property. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 other vehicles into play and a pedestrian in the middle of the street. At the time, I did not know what was happening here at this intersection and was not paying attention as my focus was on the commercial vehicle. After I dealt with the commercial vehicle, I would then respond to the pink van who was illegally in the middle of the roadway in the opposite lane of traffic facing the wrong direction, and then I would deal with this gentleman here afterward. Continuing on, I began to initiate a traffic stop heading eastbound on East Joshua Road on the semi-truck trailer. I will enable audio for the record. (1402) Metro.
Senate 1402.
Show a commercial vehicle stop on East Joshua Road with a semi-trailer.
502+1, he's taking off. Hanging a left on Route 68, he's headed over to the satellite dishes and the border wall.
Now you'll notice a lot of activity going on here on the left. We have a gentleman in the middle of the street, which at the time I could not determine if he was a non-playable character or just some random player in the middle of the street being stupid. You'll notice here we have the pink van causing a disturbance over here. At the time, my focus was, for officer safety purposes, the driver's side door of the semi-truck that I was approaching. My line of sight was not here. It was focused on the door in case the driver tried to jump out at me. So I'll continue.
GPS 100 motorcycle.
It is difficult to hear me talking at first, as there is a lot of radio traffic occurring. I believe there was an active chase in the city at the time of my traffic stop, but I will do my best to enunciate everything that occurred.
It's going to be in the prison parking lot.
How are you?
Had enough of you assholes on welfare fucking with me.
I'm doing alright.
Hey buddy, I'm Trooper Mason
Bravo
with the
2, if
Highway
we can get
Patrol.
an
The reason
additional
why I'm
down
pulling you
here
over
to
is
the
because when you
prison.
made that right turn over there at
Level
the
2 will take
intersection,
it
you
en route.
destroyed a stop sign. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, because that dude got out of his car and was running towards my truck and he was freaking me out and I took off.
Notice, everything that he is telling me, I did not observe firsthand, which you will see at the beginning of the video if you go back and watch the footage. The only crime I saw occur was him destroying state property, and that is the reason why I stopped him. Everything that he is telling me, I did not witness firsthand, therefore I cannot enforce that.
That pink van right there, I'm pretty sure they're drunk. They're all over the road.
502 to the area unit, you
Okay.
still advise
The
on?
dude got out of his car and
10-4,
started
he went
walking
off
up to my
road, he
window and said,
blacked
"Here,
out,
buddy, let
he's
me
on
in."
the
So I
road,
took off. I was
heading
freaking out.
towards the highway.
Okay. At this point, I'm observing everything that's going on across the street, and it is raising a couple of concerns. And the thought did occur to me to just let the guy go, and deal with the situation over there. However, the man did destroy state property, and I felt like that giving him a warning for destroying state property would be out of line for me. I felt a citation was in order, and I did feel that he needed to pay for the destruction of the property. So I decided that I would call for an additional unit to deal with the disturbance here, and I would continue on my traffic stop. The crime that I did witness, I was going to deal with. Everything going on here, I would call another unit for. Yeah, it looks
456,
like
I'll be
we
en
got
route.
some craziness going on there. Alrighty.
Status modified by
I'll get
new
another unit to
dispatch.
deal with them. You have your license on you, sir?
Yeah, it's here you go. It's Austin Allen.
Medic 5 to Central.
Alright, sit tight. I'll be right back.
Senate
with you.
Medic 5. I'm going to have an individual down outside of the ammunition with DSW.
So you can hear there's a lot going on in dispatch. I decided to continue on with the traffic stop and run this gentleman's information and then issue him a citation for destroying state property.
DPS 100, it's going to look like that motorcycle's going off-road back towards Route 68, westbound.
I return to my vehicle and bring up my MDT. I run his name. Nothing popped up. No wants, no checks.
DPS 100, looks like we got the vehicle. He's
User
embarking
joined your
Sonora
channel.
Road, currently southbound.
Here I'm just checking
It's going to
additional
be,
information. I'm just checking additional information here that dispatch might have included that would assist me in my investigation. The only thing about this that is incorrect is it is identified that Sergeant Terror is on this stop. That was the only thing that was incorrect, but I understand there's a lot going on and dispatch had their hands full. So I decided to take everything into my own hands, and I would report to dispatch after the citation was issued. Here I am exiting my vehicle, returning to the truck. You'll notice a gentleman on an ATV here. He decides to peel off as soon as he sees me walk up.
456, what's the vehicle model? It's going to be a black motorcycle, one occupant, looks like blue camo.
So here I'm returning to the vehicle. I have the citation written out, printed off, ready for him to sign, and I'm going to explain to him, which you will see, that he's going to receive a citation for destroying state property.
With a bag and a
Alrighty,
respirator,
Mr. Allen.
he's now heading
I do have to write
westbound.
you a citation for the destruction of state
For
property,
now,
okay? You will have to pay for the sign.
southbound
I understand
Power
the
Street.
circumstances were a little crazy, but
Crossing
every
back
cause
to
there is an effect, you understand?
He's
So
not
you
going to
would
be
have rather
westbound
me sit
Vinewood.
there and the guy pulled me out of my truck and beat me?
At this point, the gentleman decides to argue with me because he is aware that I am issuing him a citation. He begins to argue with me simply for the fact that I do not handle the incident from earlier with the pink van or the gentleman that was in the middle of the street. I chose, again, not to handle those situations for two reasons. One, because I did not directly witness anybody verbally harassing him up at his driver's side window, which he initially claims. And two, the very first crime that I see occur is the destruction of the stop sign. That's the first thing I see. That's the first thing I go with. And also, he is driving a commercial vehicle, which dangerous driving in a commercial vehicle is a lot more serious than dangerous driving in a regular sedan. That's an 80,000 pound truck. it's a bigger issue than some little sedan in the middle of the or in the middle of the roadway. So I have just informed him that he's going to receive his citation. However, he wants to continue to argue with me about it, at which point I did get a little upset, but the video speaks for itself. I did not act in an unprofessional manner. I informed him several times that he was going to receive the citation and why. Um, and here we go. We'll just continue. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you about it. I'm just here to
Dispatch
write you the
update.
citation, okay?
Okay, write me the citation because you weren't doing your job.
Your
and you
narrative
left
has been
on the right
updated.
side. You don't
Okay.
see this guy that's driving all over the road and you're not going to do
Okay,
anything about
I am
it.
only one man and I can only deal with one thing at a time. So if you want to argue with me, I'm going
Alright,
to do
well,
a
maybe
full
you should-
CVE inspection. You want me to do a full inspection of your trailer
I really don't care.
and hold
Maybe
you up
should
here
do
for
your
30 more
job
minutes?
And yeah, sure, I don't care, but you should have paid attention to the guy that was trying to pull me out of my
Okay.
vehicle and hit me.
I'm not going to argue with you. Here's your ID back.
Alright, I'll make sure to report you to the station.
Go ahead.
What's your name?
Trooper Thomas Mason, 1402.
Alright, thank you.
Now, I am looking for the citation for destruction of property. I noticed that it doesn't exist. So the closest citation that I can issue is reckless driving. That was, in my mind, the closest thing to destruction of property that I could give this gentleman with how the system is currently set up. So that is what I elected to go with because that was the citation that closest resembled destruction of property.
Like, no, you'd react when somebody was getting ready to pull you out of your vehicle. You're going to sit there and let them.
And while I'm looking for the citation, he continues to argue with me. Alright, so you're going to receive a destruction of property citation. It's going to be marked as a
Alright, do
reckless
you have a
driving charge.
supervisor that's... Do you have a
That's not how this
supervisor
works.
nearby that can come up here?
That is not
Yeah,
how
it
this
is.
works,
I
sir.
wanna
You
talk to
committed
a
a traffic
supervisor.
infraction. You're receiving the citation.
Okay, because my life was threatened.
Okay. I chose to continue to write him the citation and not act on his request for a supervisor, mainly because I felt that he was just arguing with me for the sake of arguing with me. Also, the nearest supervisor was down in Los Santos, who was currently dealing with the 1080 situation that was down there. So I decided to continue writing the gentleman the citation, which he earned. He destroyed state property. And I gave him the reckless driving charge because it was the closest that resembled the destruction of state property. Also, he committed the crime, so he was going to receive the citation. There's no way around that, no way out of that. I saw him and I did my due diligence as a law enforcement officer and as the commercial vehicle enforcement officer to issue him the citation for the crime that I witnessed. I did not witness anybody at his driver's side window making threats against his life. And again, you can see that at the beginning of this video. I need you to go ahead and sign here,
I'd
sir.
like
It's
a
not an admission
supervisor.
of guilt. It's just acknowledgement that you received the
I
citation.
don't care. I want a supervisor up there.
Okay, go ahead and sign for me.
I'm not going to sign until you get a supervisor.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to sign. You're receiving the citation anyway.
Alright, I'll make sure to get a lawyer.
Your narrative has been updated.
Alright, you have any questions for me?
What was that?
Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, why didn't you do anything about the guy that
Okay,
was
as soon
trying to
as I
assault
turn
me?
my lights off, you're going to be free to go. Have a good day.
I'd like a supervisor to be up here. So you're just going to deny me my right?
Sound resumed.
There are several more seconds of this video, however my game crashed shortly after this. Sergeant Terror 1202 did arrive on scene, as you can see here, and I'll play my interaction with him. I call into dispatch that the citation is issued, and I actually requested admin support here because we had a bunch of fail RP drivers interfering in situations that they didn't need to be interfering in. Like this gentleman here in the street, this guy parked right behind me. This is 1202 coming on scene. I believe there's a guy here as well. I decided to ignore all of these characters because they should not interfere on police RP situations, so my focus was the sergeant.
Hello, officer.
Medic 5
am I
Central.
talking to the one behind me or in front of me?
But you need to get
Central's
in your
gonna
vehicle
be
and drive away.
out of commission for a minute.
Oh.
10-4.
Trying to get some help.
Medic
You're
5
walking
DPS
up on a
100.
police RP. You can be banned for that. You don't involve yourself in
traffic.
situations that don't interact
Can you
with you.
start towards
Go ahead and get in your
Los
vehicle and
Lagunas
drive
Boulevard
away.
across of, I believe, Occupation?
I informed this gentleman of the rules of hotshot RP, that he's not allowed to walk up on or on police situations that don't involve him. I instructed him to return to his vehicle and leave the scene. I'm going to fast forward here to get back on topic.
1, say medical DSW.
Oh, 10-4.
So the guy that I just gave the citation calls over the net for a supervisor. Tara's standing right here, so I inform him of what's going on, and Tara goes to speak with him.
Forward to up to dispatch.
456 DPS 100.
Hey, you want to go deal with
would
that
you be
dickhead
able
in
to
the
do light
semi
on
truck?
this?
He's pissed off that I gave him a traffic ticket. He destroyed a stop sign over
Negative,
the
we're
intersection.
unable to touch down in the city block there.
10-4.
So Sergeant Tara goes and speaks on the other side.
456. I'm going to load him in my car. I'm going to need to move him now.
And you'll see my game crashes shortly after. I'm sitting here in the truck. Nothing is happening with me. I move his vehicle up, turn on the lights to help with traffic. I'm looking over information here. I enter in the narrative that the citation's issued. Tara is still speaking with the individual. And then my whole computer freezes right here. After that, I try to log back into the game, but more information can be seen from Tara's perspective. So this is my account of the events that occurred tonight on December 2nd.